amazed at the caliber of human beings that doTERRA attracts. So when I say that I'm honored to be here among you, I mean that with all of my heart. That's what brought us into doTERRA. We actually used the products for 4 years, swearing we would never in a million years do network marketing, until we realized that what doTERRA was creating was something that was the most incredible thing that we'd ever witnessed. I actually felt my heart leaping out of my chest when I would see my friends that were going to these events, and I kept having this feeling, I'm supposed to be with that tribe. I'm supposed to be there doing these things with these people, and so I just have to pinch myself that I get to be here with each and every one of you. I'm so excited today to be speaking about momentum, because momentum is something that we as leaders must protect at all costs in our organization. And whether you're a brand new person here thinking, I'm the only committed builder on my team, momentum, are you kidding? I don't have any momentum, I'm just here trying to figure out how to create some. And then maybe others of you have amazing momentum right now and you're looking for ways to sustain it. And then others of you, maybe you've had momentum in the past and you've experienced a setback and you've come here exhausted and disillusioned and hoping to find some way to resurrect that. Wherever you are on your path, this information is for you. Because the principles of momentum at any of these stages are the same. When we first started building in August of 2014, we came in guns blazing. We had the best upline. We're frontline to Callie Wilson. Who loves Callie Wilson? I'm like, oh, we got it, we got it. We were gonna work so hard. We were gonna have the best mindset and skill set and tool set and just go, go, go and do everything right and, you know, obey true principles and look at all the great people and do everything that they did. And we just pushed to diamond in 10 months and pushed to blue diamond in 22 months. We were so excited, thinking, oh my gosh, our leaders have tasted that bigger gold check and they're never gonna turn back and everything's just gonna go uphill from there. And the next month, you guys, everything just started unraveling and we could not figure out what was going on. And then we thought, oh, it's just because it's summer. This was June of last year. It's just because it's summer. It's a bad summer. But then every month, things just started getting worse and worse. And then the unthinkable happened. 2 of my best friends that were on my front line, who I adore, stepped back and said they didn't want to build anymore. And I fell into a darkness that I had never experienced. The closest thing to a nervous breakdown that I've ever had. And the information that I have for you today is how our team pulled up out of that. And my intention today is hoping that it might help some of you that might be in a similar situation now or someday, that you can create momentum that will never stop, because what we did wrong, we are never going to do again, and I'm going to make sure you don't do it either. So you heard it here, people. Okay. So, oh, I forgot about slides. There were some slides. Here we go. Formula for creating momentum. Here we go. All right, so in speaking about momentum, we're really thinking about 2 different things. Something that we like to call you juice, or your attitude and personal energy, and team juice. I love this image of a colander. Think of yourself like this colander, and all the little holes are your roles and responsibilities. And the more water pressure you have, the more emotional reservoirs you have to shower down on your roles and responsibilities. So we want this thing overflowing, abundantly full, right? So I'm going to give you my 5 top tips of how to keep this you juice massive and overflowing. The first one is to understand and love our profession. If you're here sitting in these seats, it probably means you've had some powerful experiences with our product. It probably means you love our culture, right? We can't get enough of it. Our healing hands and co-impact sourcing and our ethical, amazing owners, you know, all of this stuff, you know, we feel so spoiled being in this company. And it probably means also that you have some degree of belief in yourself, that you have some degree of mission already if you've made it here to silver. But there's one little thing that's just like the fly in the ointment, and that's when you have to break it to people that it's network marketing, right? Can we just be real? That's real, okay? And this is something that I have noticed has hindered people from having business conversations. That they're like, oh, the product's so amazing, the business is so amazing, I wish it wasn't network marketing. And I promise you, I'm going to give you some tough love. If this is something that you're struggling with, if you wish we weren't in network marketing and you don't yet passionately love our business model, this is holding you back. And I promise you there's a way to get out of it, and I'll show you how. Usually the issue is how long it takes. Every person that steps back it's usually because it's taking too long to make money, or it's taking too long to find builders, or I've been doing this for 2 years and I still just only have some sharers. I don't have any real builders. I'm just no good at this. It's because my journey's taking too long. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my journey. This is what I feel from people that are wanting to step back. And this is something I found. I determined, once I found this in my heart still, I determined that I wasn't just going to understand this business. I was going to love it with all of my heart and go out there and be just as proud to be a part of our version of network marketing as doTERRA itself. And this is what I found. The barrier of entry to success in our profession is mental toughness and consistency with income-producing activities over many years. Yes, many years. And once I read these books and understand this, it clicked that all of our journeys are so perfect for our learning and growth, turning me from like this stay-at-home mom voice teacher into a CEO running $1 million company. That's going to take some time. That's going to take me getting some street credibility out in the world as a doTERRA person. Once I figured this out, you guys, I was set free. My brother gave me some amazing advice. He's an awesome lawyer, and he said in law school, an amazing law mentor came and gave them this incredible nugget. They said, for your first 5 years as a lawyer, you are going to feel like an imposter. You're not going to remember everything, or your state law is going to be different from what you learned in law school, and you're going to have to, smile at your clients and then look a ton of things up. And he gave me this piece of advice when I started doTERRA. It has served me so well. So this is something I put on a note card, and I put this on my mirror. Figure out the price that needs to be paid in terms of numbers of years filled with both victories and failures in the field. Figure out the price that needs to be paid in terms of skills, training, and practice, and then determine to pay that price. Show up every day to pay that price. This has allowed me to honor my journey's timeline and trust the process and not constantly feel like there's something wrong with me. Because I promise, if you've had tons of people quit and lots of things fall apart, you're in good company. All the presidentials have had that same thing happen to them. Number 2, be happy for others' successes. I cannot tell you how much you juice or your personal energy I've seen sucked from people being jealous of other people, or feeling threatened by other people, or not being happy when others succeed. So who can guess who's in this picture? Does anybody recognize somebody there? So Callie and I have been friends since we were 5 years old, and we did everything together. And there was this one day, I think it was in 7th grade or 8th grade, I came home and I put my backpack on the table and my mom was there, and I said, Mom, it's just really hard being Callie's friend. It's just so hard being Callie's friend. And my mom said, why? What happened? Because we never fought or anything. And I was like, we're just good at all the same things. Like, I'm a singer and she's a singer. I'm a dancer, she's a dancer. I try to be nice to people, she tries to be nice to people. She's good in school and I try to be good in school. And I'm like, I just have no room to be myself because Callie's so amazing at everything. And it's just hard being her friend. Anyway, so I was just being lame, preteen, whatever. And I will never forget what my mom said to me. I can actually divide my life from before this conversation to after. My mom grabbed my hand and looked into my eyes, and she said, oh, Emily, she said, someday you're going to grow up and you're going to go out in the world and you're going to realize how starved our planet is for amazing women. Never wish anyone to shine any less brightly. Never wish for any woman to be any less wonderful, because our planet is desperate for them. Our planet needs Callie to be as amazing as possible. This was so huge for me. I was so grateful. I got it. My little immature preteen brain, I got it. And I determined at that point I was going to have Callie's back for the rest of my life. And I was going to actually seek out other women who I thought were better than me and be their friend so that I could be better. And I promise, if you are struggling with this, if you're struggling with feeling threatened or jealous of anybody else, let this be the moment that you just leave that behind you forever and determine to get on that person's bandwagon who's on their biggest fan. And as you lift them up, you will lift yourself up. Oh, there's my mom, aka holiest woman you'll ever meet. I'll get this slide in there. Number 3, nurture your greatest asset, which is you. Your greatest asset in building doTERRA is your own personal light, your own personal emotional resources to handle things. That is your greatest asset. And I will tell you, when we had our big breakdown, you guys, I figured out what the problem was. Because I had worked so hard and was so crazy, I hadn't taken care of myself, and so I had been left susceptible and vulnerable to a breakdown because I was not okay. And the problem was, I was like an OCD list maker. If you would have seen my business list every day, it was like, call these 30 people and encourage them, and have these 5 business conversations and do all this. I could never get it all done, and I always felt like a loser at the end of the day. And then also my family list, cook an organic, homemade meal every night for my family, and massage my husband's feet when he gets home. This is no joke, this was on my list. And practice all my kids' instruments with them, and read all of them to all of them before they go to bed. Then look in the emotions book before bed, see what emotion they all need, and put it all on their feet so that I'm serving my family first. Just all this stuff, just insane. And this is how I knew I was going psycho. When I would pray, this is how when I would pray, the first words that came out of my mouth were, I'm so sorry. Even though I was working so hard, these are my first words. This is my self-abuse, I'm just letting you see. Okay, come into the presence of my God and say, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. So I knew I had problems. And I sought out some help, and I came across Tony Robbins' simple organization system. You divide your day into three pieces: self, business, and family. And do something every day, deliberately, intentionally, to fill your soul. Then ask yourself what your most high impact activity in your business, what is going to affect the most people, what is going to help the most people, and do it that day. And then what's the highest impact action for your family? Tell yourself, if you just got those main things done, that it's been a good day, and that you're good. And inevitably you'll accomplish more things, but this saved my sanity, saved my life. All right, oh, and he says, complexity is the enemy of execution. Isn't that great? I love that. That's my new thing. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Number 4, associate your mind with the best. So, you know how you're like the sum total of the 5 people you hang out with the most? So while I was in my major loser pathetic state for a few months after our drop, after Blue, I decided I needed to find some mentors who were amazing. And so I chose George Washington to be one of my mentors. And I started, no joke, because I thought he did some really hard things. So I started reading 1776. Started reading it. And I was driving home late one night from visiting a team, and I just started sobbing. Because I was listening to how he held this vision when he had some of the same problems I had, and I know to a lesser degree, but did you know he also didn't have enough money to run his army? And did you know that like massive percentages of his army quit on him? People betrayed him, people mocked him, and he still held this vision so amazingly. And I just cried and I thought, oh my gosh, God didn't roll out the red carpet for George Washington either. Like he didn't just make it all easy for him to do it. So if your path isn't smooth, that doesn't mean that you still don't have the potential to be an amazing leader. So associate your mind with amazing people and start vibrating like at their same brain level. Number 5, tap into your genius and passion. I have seen so many people who were dead in their business come alive as we helped them find out what their true purpose on earth was and then shape their doTERRA business to that. We had one lady who was saying, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, which I hate that, just a stay-at-home mom, but that's what she said. I'm just a stay-at-home mom, and I don't know. And I said, well, where do you feel powerful? And she kind of stood up and she said, my kitchen. I feel powerful in my kitchen. And then all of a sudden a light bulb went off and she said, I'm going to teach my doTERRA classes at my kitchen table and put all the 101 oils in the food. Oh my gosh. Anyway, and she just took off. So it was pretty amazing. Here's one of our leaders who's a former lead Metropolitan Opera soprano who teaches singers, empowers singers. Incredible. Here's another one. This was my colleague in the Peace Corps, Patricia. We served in Latin America together in the Peace Corps, and she's an avid environmentalist. When you come to her classes, and she closes like insane amounts of her classes, she gets everybody to commit to recycling. They will like put their hand up, commit to recycling and everything. She's so passionate. She talks about the whole earth and you in the earth and sells tons of oils doing it. It's so amazing. And then Sunny, former anchor woman and news reporter, was feeling totally dead until she started putting motivational speaking and interviewing, like TV interviewing, into her doTERRA business. So it's pretty amazing. So that would be my encouragement to you. Find what you're passionate about, what your leaders are passionate about, and brainstorm ways to bring that into your doTERRA business. If you are scientific, doTERRA is for you. If you are a really crazy business person, doTERRA is for you. If you're really into health and fitness, doTERRA is for you. If you're just about, like simple staying at home, you're like, I'm all about staying at home and I think it's evil to be out of the home, guess what? doTERRA is for you, it's so perfect. Okay, whatever, doTERRA is for you, okay? And shape that and it'll be amazing. Truly inspired people are inspiring. I stole this from one of the owners last year and this just entered my heart so deeply. Truly inspired people are inspiring. Okay, so switching to Team Juice. This part's a little more brief because I feel like most of the momentum work, you guys, is in ourselves. That's where the true battle is. If you can win that battle and your juice is overflowing, you can absolutely motivate your team. Just being in your presence is going to get them motivated. Okay, so Team Juice, but I am going to get down to the nitty-gritty just a little bit for those of you that need some more substance. So number one, create a long-term strategy. Let me just say, last April, we spent the whole month calling up all 50 players in our Blue Diamond structure. So 5 golds, 50 premiers, 30 executives. And I think we did a good job of inspiring them, meaning we called them up and said, our team is thinking of coming together to create something so special that'll have a lot of cross-line support and promotions. Is this something that aligns with your vision right now? I know you're wanting to get your business going. I've been watching you and you have a lot of talent and blah, blah, blah. And every single person said, yes, sign me up. But guess what? I only had a 1-month strategy for them. I was like, this is what we're going to do in May, and we're going to hit it. My little brain, my naive brain thought, they'll hit it, and then they'll just go after that, right? Then this is where I made the mistake, so don't make this mistake. It would have been just as easy when I called them up saying, hey, we'd love to help you get to your next rank, and we're going to help you create a 6-month solidification process. Month 1 is going to look like this. Month 2 is going to look like this. Month 3 is going to look like this before 5, and it never would have slipped back, I swear. I just think that slipped back, everybody lost morale in the idea that this can work. So don't make that mistake. Create a long-term strategy, and when you go to your team, present it in a solidification, not just a one-hit wonder kind of mentality. Number 2, rally the troops. I love Stephen Covey, and I love a story that he tells in his 7 Habits about his son who was struggling. And his tendency, because Stephen was a busy man, was to call his son into his home office and tell him to shape up. That would take, 5 minutes? And he'd get that done. But then he remembered what he learned in business. With people, you need to take time. So instead, he took a half day off work and took this son up into the mountains to go 4-wheeling. And sure enough, 3 hours later, this son spilled his guts and even came up with a solution to the problem. And this is a quote that I'm trying to help shape my leadership in all aspects. This is what Stephen says. With people, if you want to save time, don't be efficient. With people, slow is fast, and fast is slow. Take the time. Take the time to get to know your team and to bring them around to their vision, meeting them where they're at and then kicking them up a notch. Bring them around through love and persuasion. Number 3, give them a vision. Here's my little pet peeve, you guys. You've heard it here again. Okay, give them a vision. This is not just the doTERRA why. This is also helping them know how to use their time. If you have a bootstrapping wild horse that doesn't want to listen to a thing you say, my advice is get out of their way. Let them do it their way. Don't tell them this is the only right way to do doTERRA. However, most people aren't like that. Most people really want you to help them know how to use their very precious resource of time. A lot of people start this business with full-time jobs, right? So, give them a vision also means how to use their time. So remember the texting blitz that we all love? Who loves the texting blitz? Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh, let's hear some love for the texting blitz, you guys. Come on, we love it. This is the best way to use your time, you guys. We have everybody in our team just fill this out. Doesn't matter what system you're using. And if you'll notice, this is how people move people from exposure to exposure. So let's say there's a working dad who's working on doTERRA, has only 20 minutes on one evening to work on his business. He can get out his phone and look on here and say, oh, what's the best way that I can move my business forward today? Look at all these people that are ready for business conversations. I think I'll text those 4 people and see when they have time to meet me at Starbucks so we can talk about it, right? It's a way to really, really use your time effectively. And so it also has your skill set on the top, and then the tools, whatever tools you guys are using, I write at the bottom. And then on the other side, mindset. I always make sure they're in a book, that they have some online video training, and they're hooked into social support in a team call. And it's as simple as that, that no one on my team, my first year, you guys, we had so many people saying, I'm confused, this is utter chaos, I don't know what I'm doing. And I determined no one who's working with me is ever gonna say that again. I don't want anyone to ever say that they don't know how to spend their time. So this texting blitz thing totally saved our bacon. Okay, so number 4, live the law of the picture. You guys know who's in this picture. This is Rich Higbee. When we were having our slump, I got a call from Rich, okay? So he calls me up, he asks me how I'm doing. He doesn't give me any advice, he's just really loving, saying that corporate loves us and all this stuff. And so I asked, and I could say, oh, I'm the problem child now. He's calling me up, he's thinking I'm gonna break down, which I was. And so, but I didn't really share that with him because I didn't know him very well. Anyway, and then after that, I asked him, I said, what advice would you have for us? And he said, you know, in 24 years being in this profession, whenever a team is stuck, it's always because the person at the top has stopped enrolling, customers, has stopped enrolling builders. If you can start doing that again, Emily, and let your leaders see you doing that, your team will pick up again. So I said, thank you. And I closed the phone, and I'm like, little does he know I'm in a total breakdown. I can't attract anyone right now. Like, I'm a freak show. So I called my husband, told him, I'm like, John, corporate's calling us. Like, we're a problem. Like, this is a problem. And anyway, and so he immediately, like, signed me up for a self-help conference, got me a counselor, scheduled me massages, like all these things to put myself back together. But here's what's so cool. Because Rich told me that, no, it was a catalyst. So those calls were corporate, those calls were. But it was a catalyst for me because I called up on my team, you guys, and for the first time, I was honest with my leaders. I told them what I was going through, and I told them what we were doing to fix it. And like magic, they all started doing the same thing. One of our frontline paid $6,000 to get a Tony Robbins coach. It's like getting out of all our issues, and all of a sudden, everything started picking up. We started enrolling leader after leader after leader again. We started putting pictures on Facebook that people were coming in the team and everything was coming alive, and it's just been like crazy momentum like we have never had before. More new leaders, more new everything since this time. So I think it's so important to share these amazing stories. The other thing though I will just mention before leaving this law of the picture, don't just share stories about all the wins. The victories are vital. That is the most important thing, the victories, but also share with your team how you cope with things. Callie taught me when I didn't know anything about emotional anything. She's like, Emily, when you're having a hard time, tap your collarbone, which I had no idea what that was. Tap your collarbone and say, this is perfect for my learning and growth. This is perfect for my learning and growth. That saved me from quitting for like years. And another one was, life happens for me, not to me. Life happens for me, not to me. Love it, this saved my life. And here's one of my favorite coping mechanisms. And I've shared this with my team also. When it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm driving in a blizzard to go visit a team again, and I'm from Hawaii, okay, born and raised, like I don't do snow, like I'm in here. I married a Colorado boy, so that's what brought me here. But anyway, so I'm driving, and my morale's feeling kind of low. I envision my 3 sons as adults in their 20s, like young, handsome, wonderful men, sitting in the front seat and 2 in the back, and I imagine them smiling at me and saying, thank you so much, Mom. Thank you so much, thank you so much. And then they tell me, I envision this in my mind, they tell me everything that they've accomplished, not just because of our financial freedom, but because of all the books I forced them to read before they were allowed to get a car. And all the books I forced them to read before they were allowed to get a smartphone. And would never happen before doTERRA. Before doTERRA, I read Harry Potter for 5 years, just over and over. It's not a joke, over and over. Okay? It's just amazing what doTERRA's brought in my life. Lastly, be relentless with each line. Another mistake I made, I was like, I'm working so hard, I'm visiting everybody, I'm loving everybody, and not really working on the areas that really, really needed me. A lot of areas, there was tons of other people that could have done that. And what's brought our momentum back is we've been able to identify who really needs me. And my front line, they don't really need me, they're awesome now. Like, well, maybe a little bit, but not really. And so, like, who really needs me? And then go back to them month after month after month until they're solid. Let me tell you what I used to think was solid. I used to think solid was they know how to teach a good product class. Now, and I made that mistake so many times, oh, they're independent. I trained them, because I'm a singer and performance coach, I trained them how to present to the class. And so they are ready, right? And so this was such a mistake. What I have learned is solid, what that means is that that leader has multiple sharers and builders on their team, that they are not alone. Do not leave them alone. Keep going back to those weaker areas or those places that need support again and again until they are 100% solid. Don't let that momentum go down at all. This last image I want to share with you, this image taught me so much. This is from Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect. If you haven't read that yet, totally changed my life. And he talks about how if you were to compare 2 planes, let's compare a fighter jet going as fast as aircraft can go, that went from LA to New York City, but had to stop multiple times along the way. Compare that fighter jet with a clunker plane that's going as slow as a plane can go and still stay in the air, but doesn't stop, ever, from LA to New York. So mathematically, who do you think arrives first in New York City? The clunker plane. The clunker plane, because that clunker plane did not lose what? Momentum. Did not lose the momentum. After this experience, I am telling you, I am never going to let this happen again in our organization. We're just going to keep going. And I'll share a quick little story with you to close. Momentum strategy overview. If you guys want to take a picture, I know I get really annoyed when people go really fast, so I thought I'll just give you just a quick little second. You can take a picture. These are my 5 quick little tips that were major energy suckers for me that saved my U-juice. And then this next one, the team juice. These were the things, the pitfalls we fell into that stopped our momentum that we will never let happen again. The final thing I want to share with you guys is to be willing to be bad at this first. I go back to the little Girl Scouts starting doTERRA saying, I'm going to do everything right and I'm going to watch all of these amazing people right now and do exactly what Elise Chenevy does, that exactly what Natalie Goddard does, that do exactly what Heather Matter does, all these people that I looked up to from the videos that I watched, and I'll read lots of books. So doTERRA won't have to take that long for me because I'll skip all the mistakes because I'll learn from everybody else's mistakes. Okay, I know you guys are probably being so annoyed with me, like, ew, I wouldn't want to be her friend. This was just in my mind. This is in my mind. In my mind, I'm thinking this, okay? But here's what I learned, you guys. There are some things that you cannot learn from books and that you cannot learn from amazing mentors. There's some things that you can only learn from your own failures and mistakes. That you can only learn from being rock bottom, not knowing how you're going to get up. But some of those times are going to be your greatest schooling, your greatest seasoning as a leader. And if you determine to overcome all of that, you will rise as something fearsome to behold in a good way. So I invite us all to choose one thing on the U-Juice, one thing on the Team Juice list and implement it, and determine to protect your momentum at all costs. Mahalo.